And we are live. Thank you for tuning in. If you're here watching live, if you could write something in the chat box just to say Uhuru and hi. And we'll get started in about 3 or 4 minutes. Oh, you know what? I am actually going to make a short Facebook post right now. Okay. Is there anyone watching? How's the feed going? youtube.com/Uhuru Solidarity. Uhuru, welcome. I see Kristen's watching. Miss Red Bell is watching. Hi, this is, you can see, the Burning Spear study began 2 minutes ago, and so yeah, if you hop on over to the YouTube channel for Uhuru Solidarity, youtube.com/Uhuru Solidarity, we are already beginning. So thank you very much, and I'll see you over there shortly. So that has been posted. Barbara Johnson, welcome. Uhuru. Uhuru, everyone. Okay, so it's 6:03. We're going to get started, and people will come in as they come in. Virginia, welcome. Uhuru. So as you can tell, right now I'm not coming to you from my house, and it's because of my work situation this weekend. I am going to be in St. Mark's Church in the Bowery, which you can see. That's where I am now. And that also means that we'll be going until 6:50 or so, because I have to be on stage pretty soon thereafter. So I appreciate everyone's willingness to be here, and sometimes we have jobs and things, but we stick to the Burning Spear study, so this is where we are. So just a little bit about this program. My name's Connor Voss. I'm the National Secretary for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, which is the movement of white people under the African People's Solidarity Committee. Uhuru, Virginia. Yeah, here we are in the theater doing a study. So the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the movement of white people, so North Americans, European descendants, that are working directly under the leadership of the African People's Solidarity Committee, and more largely under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. And the African People's Socialist Party was founded in 1972. The Solidarity Committee was founded 4 years later with its leader, Chairwoman Penny Hess, in 1976. And today's study will be on the Burning Spear newspaper, which is the official newspaper of the African People's Socialist Party. Oh, I have it open already. You see, I'll show you the front page. And this was actually founded, the Burning Spear newspaper was founded before the party was founded. So the Burning Spear was founded in 1968, right towards that ending period. Well, not the ending period. In the middle, kind of towards the end of the liberation movements of the 60s. So we're going to be reading from this. This is the last study that we have this month, in the month of, is it April? May? Oh. So the last study of May, we're going to be reading the essay on by Penny Hess, Chairwoman Penny Hess, who I just mentioned. Here, page 13, White Solidarity with Black Power. So that's us. Peace, everybody. We got Jazz and Justice. We got. Make sure you guys comment in the chat if you're here. So we got Barbara, Kristen, Miss Red Bell, Virginia, Jazz and Justice. Okay. So that's about me, this paper, the party. Yeah, okay. So if you could open now to Uhuru Johan, welcome. Uhuru Jackson, welcome. So we're gonna open to page 13 towards the end after this centerfold. And the name of this article is, in every issue there's a section, there's at least one page called White Solidarity with Black Power, which generally is written by Chairwoman Penny Hess, or it comes as an excerpt from her book, Overturning the Culture of Violence or something. So what we're reading today is that section. And the title of this article is Uhuru Solidarity Movement's 2017 Convention Creates a Culture of Reparations to African People. Exclamation point. And you can see there's Penny right there. She's great. When I met her at the Black is Back Coalition, she signed my copy of her book, and I was very proud. Okay. So, and then you see beautiful pictures of future mayor of St. Petersburg, Jesse Neville, here, and Penny speaking there, smiling but fierce with her fist up. And then also a number of our comrades, the Solidarity comrades here, with a number of the party comrades and the larger movement comrades scattered about, people of all ages, people of all backgrounds, all sectors represented in this photo. And the caption of that photo is, participants come from all over the country to attend the 2017 USM convention. USM is what material solidarity looks like. Uhuru. So beginning, as I said, it's written by Penny Hess, chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee, and it has her email in case you want to email her any questions, penny@theburningspear.com. And it's being written from St. Petersburg, Florida. White people from all sectors, ages, genders, and backgrounds gathered from over 20 cities in the beautiful Aquaba Hall in St. Petersburg, Florida for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, USM, 2017 National Convention entitled, quote, White Solidarity with Black Power. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the organization of white people formed by and working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, APSP, to organize in material solidarity with the African Liberation Movement. Comrades traveled from, you'll have to excuse the noise, the footsteps and whatnot. There's an office above us. Comrades traveled from cities like, comrades traveled from cities like Seattle, Spokane, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, Brooklyn, New York, Tampa, Gainesville, and Bradenton, Florida, Oakland and San Diego, California, Atlanta, Georgia, and San Antonio, Texas. So from all over. And maybe there's even people from many of these places watching now. The convention marked a new era for the political and cultural movement for white reparations to African people emerging throughout the U.S. and the world. It's true. And you can watch the entire convention online on this very YouTube channel, I think. Many of the sections have been excerpted, and hopefully we'll have better edited versions up in a bit. Okay. Solid. Is the video feed still good? I know I'm using a weird Wi-Fi. Okay, we're still good. Still looks fine to me. That's all. So the next section is called Solidarity is What You Want to Be. Jesse Neville, National Chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, opened the convention with an exciting political report on USM's work the past year. Neville mobilized the room with goals and plans to recruit hundreds of members and supporters to hold, quote, reparations challenge fundraisers. Monthly web conferences, Bring the Days in Solidarity with African People speaking tour, and events to a minimum of 8 cities, and raise $50,000 in reparations to Black Star Industries, the economic wing of the African People's Socialist Party. This has become even more clear actually in the past couple weeks. The convention was a little while ago, but this was at the beginning of April. But the way that the structure of the USM as an organization has shifted has really brought this forward, brought exactly what this says here, that the Reparations Challenge fundraisers, the monthly web conferences, and the Days in Solidarity with African People speaking tours, and the material solidarity, the raising of the pledge to the party and its economic development programs is chief. It's the primary reason why USM exists. So it's really become clear, and I can talk a little bit more about that later. Continuing, quote, "The struggle for reparations is our entry point into the human family," said Neville. Penny Hess, chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, APSC, since 1976, that's what I said, 1976, the founding of the Solidarity Committee, gave an impassioned presentation urging the white community to take responsibility for our history of violence and terror against African people, from the widespread lynchings of African people to the present-day reality of police terror and mass incarceration. The keynote speaker, Omali Yeshitela, chairman of the African People's Socialist Party, expounded upon the deepening crisis of the imperialist social system and emphasized why the revolutionary movement must utilize all forms of struggle, including the electoral process, to advance the mission of African self-determination. This is important, and I have something to mention about it later as well. Chairman O'Malley saluted the rising generation of solidarity leadership, stating proudly, quote, "When I look around the room today, I see the future." Uhuru. What an incredible thing to be proud of. Gazi Kodzo, cultural icon and director of the party's National Office of Recruitment and Membership, cultural icon for sure, celebrated USM for its stance of unity with the aspirations and struggle of African people for self-determination and freedom. He upheld this stance. Oh, I'm still good. He upheld this stance as a courageous one worthy of emulation by the white masses. Kodzo said, quote, "To the people of the world, we say proudly, solidarity is what you want to be," end quote. I know that Gazi said something else that was like, don't know if I can quote it precisely, but to paraphrase, it was something like, "These are the baddest crackers I know," which was just like really cute. It was an opportunity for the party members to not express like a friendly appreciation, but a political appreciation for the strategic role that Solidarity comrades have played in supporting the economic development programs of the party. So it's a really wonderful political connection that happens in those moments. So the next section, a culture of reparations. Eartha Akile Canyon and Jesse Neville rallied the crowd around their historic and unprecedented campaigns for City Councilwoman of District 6, that's Akile, and Mayor of St. Petersburg, Florida, on revolutionary platforms, baddest crackers on the planet. Yeah, as Virginia said, I think that's what Ghazi said. You can check the video. Ghazi has a way with words. We'll say that. District 6 and Mayor of St. Petersburg on revolutionary platforms of black self-determination and reparations, respectively. Which is what if you were attending the web conference on Wednesday, was gone into incredible detail. And I am just constantly amazed by Jesse. And I mean, Jesse I've worked with, and so I'm amazed with his ability to speak clearly about these ideas. But Akile is like 20 years old, and she's so amazing and powerful and winning and such an amazing leader. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. We'll go back. The Committee for the Three Drowned Black Girls, led by Eartha Akile Canyon, presented a powerful workshop including APSP member Kunde Mwamvita, mother of Dominique Battle, one of the three drowned black girls. That was Dominique Battle, as well as USM member Casey Mackey. Uhuru Mackey! The workshop won international support from the white community to stand in solidarity with the courageous warrior Kunde and the struggle for justice for the three drowned black girls. The International Office of Membership and Recruitment led a dynamic presentation to lay out plans for bringing hundreds of white people into the movement in this upcoming year. One of the outstanding workshops was called, quote, "The Road to Ending All Oppression." Johann Bedingfield conducted, Uhuru, Comrade Johann, watching now, conducted the workshop and featured an array of speakers who addressed the responsibility. Oh, someone texted me. A potential comrade just texted me. Okay. Where was I? The International Office of Membership and Recruitment The Road to Ending All Oppression. Johann Bedingfield conducted the workshop and featured an array of speakers who addressed the responsibility and interests of various sectors of the white population, including LGBT, disabled, veterans, women, and Jewish people. To unite with Black power is the solution to all contradictions faced within white society. This is really, really important, and especially as we move into this coming month, which is of June, which is in many cases the anniversary of the Stonewall riots, and therefore the gay pride festival and parade circuit all around the country, that we understand the relationship between gay political culture and the gay political movement and the movement for as an opportunistic movement that's based in a white power imperialist economy and a black power economy. So important, and that was a large part of the presentation. All these different sectors were a large part of the presentation that Johann gave at the convention, which again, you can watch online. The reparations cultural revolution was on display throughout the convention with Jackson Hollingsworth's performance of the revolutionary song Reparations Now, which I must say is a heartrending and empowering and triumphant song about reparations. I never would have thought that a song about reparations would be so successful, really, because we don't have songs about things that matter in our culture. We have all these crappy songs about subjective emotions, and we don't have songs about revolution and whatnot. So Uhuru, Comrade Jackson, for having a beautiful voice and lending that skill and talent and ability to such an amazing cause. Okay, and I'm really going on today. Johann Bedingfield's beautiful and heart-wrenching reading of the piece, quote, a poet's cry for his humanity, unquote. Another amazing part of Johann Bedingfield's contribution to the work of the party and the African Liberation Movement. Okay, continuing. USM elects National Steering Committee. Chairwoman Penny Hess, to much applause, reappointed Jesse Neville as the National Chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. All USM members present then participated in the elections for the USM National Steering Committee, voting unanimously on the USM leadership the coming year. The National Steering Committee of the USM is as follows. So I'll just say, all the positions on the National Steering Committee are elected except for the chair, which is appointed by the Solidarity Committee. And the same is true I believe the same is true in the Solidarity Committee, that Penny is appointed by the party. So there's some degree of electoral process happening, but there's a large also degree of appointment because of how we work under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. So chair, Jesse Neville. Secretary, who's the secretary? It's me, Connor Voss. When I saw my name in this paper, I was like, oh, this is so cool. So cool. Okay, treasurer, Amanda Carlozzi, who's amazing. She stayed at my house earlier this year. Membership coordinator, Raya Fogarty. Outreach coordinator. And you know what? Some of this stuff is different now because we've changed some of the committees. A lot of this is pretty much the same. Johann is still your go-to guy around outreach. And for Info Ed's a little bit different, but Sam Day is definitely the artistic director of the work that we're doing in USM. Casey Mackey, head of economic development. International branch organizer, Jackson Hollingsworth. Jackson's leading up DSAP as well. Uhuru! This week's been tough for secretarial work, but being a secretary has really helped me get my shit together as a person. When I have to follow up on action items, I'm just I get to it. And I've never been that kind of person. I was always late with my homework and stuff and after the due dates, but I'm getting much better now that I'm involved in this way. So the revolution can solve all your problems is basically the moral of the story. Infotech, no, that's not happening. So some of this is incorrect. You can cross this off of your copy. This convention invigorated all of the members and new leaders of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement to continue to struggle and gain ground on this front of African liberation, the African liberation movement under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, taking USM to new and unprecedented heights. Join the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, uhurusolidarity.org. Woohoo! Uhuru, thanks for reading along with me, and I hope you guys are still comfortable. So there's a few things I wanted to say, and then we can open up to discussion. We can answer some questions, and then we can go from there. So the first thing is about Reparations Challenge. So Reparations Challenge used to be like a program, a campaign of what we do, and now it's totally immersed. The whole program that we do is immersed and interwoven with Reparations Challenge, because all that we are doing really is raising resources, socializing resources, turning the flow of wealth from its current systemic direction, which is out of the hands of African people, out of the African homeland, out of the work and labor of colonized people, and into the pockets of the ruling class, into the profits of these huge corporations. So capitalism and colonialism function together as part of the same beast to accomplish this. Reparations is the weapon against that. It is the blood of the beast going out of the beast. And, well, the metaphor falls apart, but you get the point. So the Reparations Challenge, I can describe it a little bit. It's basically a format, it's a very flexible format for doing not just gathering reparations from your own self and your own bank account, but gathering reparations from your community. So part of what the work that we're doing is not only just pledging lots and lots of our own money and working ourselves, totally until we're exhausted, but gathering the resources from our immense social networks and our communities so that we can lend those things as well to, you're totally fine. You can. So we're gathering the resources from our entire communities. It's really a community effort in terms of building, African liberated economy. So when it gets into specifics, you can see here that our pledge this year is $50,000, which is a lot for an individual person to raise. There's no way, unless you're already a total profiteering capitalist, totally goon. I don't have 50. I live on less than I live on very little money. So the only way for me to contribute to this, and I'm a performer, so I don't have a lot of money at my disposal anyway. The only way for me to do a reparations challenge is to go out into my community and stop isolating myself and actually talk to people and raise money. So that's what the reparations challenge is. And there's so many things you can do. We're going to be having if you're a member, make sure that you're signed up for the meeting tomorrow, which is going to be a call-in. You can learn more about the reparations challenge, and different people will be given reports on their reparations challenges and stuff. Penny, yes, Omali. Check out Penny and Omali, and I should be the chairman. Check out Chairwoman Penny Hess and Chairman Omali Yeshitela's videos from the convention, because they're both incredibly winning speakers. Ghazi's amazing. Y'all know all about his. If you're on YouTube, you know about Ghazi already. Everybody knows about Ghazi. Even a friend of mine, some white sort of white Jewish guy who's involved in the Palestinian liberation movement knew about Ghazi from a friend of his in Germany or something. Everybody knows about Ghazi. So, United Black Power. Okay, so then the last thing is about gaining ground on this front of the African liberation movement. Is we have to understand in USM that we represent the African liberation movement, and any space that we take up is space that the liberation movement is taking up. Most of the Tree Hugger Power, my suggestion is you make shorter and more epic videos. Most of the online audience, please, you can't win people in just 1 second. We have short videos too. If you're interested in shorter videos, more epic videos, we have some of those too. But this is a study, so we read through and we talk about it and stuff. But I appreciate your comments and whatnot. So I'll wrap up. it's important. Just all I'm saying is that it's important that we take up space on behalf of the movement, on behalf of African liberation. White people have a lot of. I can pay attention to a study for an hour. um, some people have long attention spans. Some people have short attention spans. Luckily for you, it's on YouTube. You can come and go, and you can have your snacks open. You can be reading and drinking your box of water. Um, so yeah, that's So we have to understand that when we take up space, basically the way it works is white power tries to take up all the space. It tries to co-opt everything. Pay attention, but I'm nervous because we're in a church. um, yeah, we are in a. I should show you. It's nice. Actually, it's a show. The show I'm doing here has this section that's like very open, and I like to take that section as a moment to go up to the audience and talk about how we're all like dancing on stolen land, and that I urge the Dance Space Project to turn over their land and resources to the indigenous nations, people that lived here, the Manhattoes and Lenape Indians, whose land this is. Um, anyway, little things you can do here and there. So that's another way, taking up space. And we can't let white power take up any more space. It's not going to help anyone, really. It doesn't help us to be free. It doesn't help African people to be free. So that's all I've got. I'm going to call in now to the number that we have, and we can do some questions. In the meantime, if you guys want to post your comments, questions, support, or ideas for things to talk about, do that now in the chat. I know some people have already started that. I'm going to call in now with the number. Video has uploaded. I'm going to get to this. Okay. Where's the call-in? I should just post the call-in number here. Oh no, I can see myself. I hate when I can see myself in these videos. Okay. If you're in here as well, you can follow along. So 712 770 1626. Call.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please wait, and you will be joined into the. Please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. Thank you. You are the only participant in the conference.
You're the only participant in the call. So someone needs to call in, so I don't have to listen to this jazz music. And post when you. Okay. We've got jazz music. Don't like that jazz music. Okay. Tree Hugger Power says, I'm not talking about this video, and yes, I watched the other ones, but the majority of them aren't edited and more than 4 minutes long. I appreciate your work. It's a good point. I mean, certainly now in this generation, a lot of people are used to very short. I think something showed me that like people watch like 15 seconds of videos on average. That's the average amount that people watch. So we're always looking for people to help us figure out how our content can reach a broader and broader audience. Obviously, this work is about what works. It's not about we're not going to sacrifice the party line, but at the same time, if there's a way to make the party line more accessible and more compatible with the attentions and the interests of the public, that's what's going to work, and the work will eventually find its way there. So, come on in. So Kristen suggests join our AV team. Yeah, we have a burgeoning art department, and if you want to help edit videos and stuff, I think because I was actually watching the web conference on Wednesday, and it was so winning and great. But I do agree there can be things done to edit the content and make it more palatable and shorter for different things. So appreciate that. AV team, what's that? Video stuff. Yeah, cool. Dun dun. You see, we're in a church. So it's 6:30. Let's take a few more minutes of. Is anyone on the line? Still jazz. Got any other questions before we wrap up? Reparations challenge makes us. So Virginia says, Comrade Virginia says, reparations challenge makes us not isolate so much. To win our white people and improve our reparations challenge effectiveness, we have to talk to other people. Yeah, so this is a really important part of the work that we're doing, is breaking down sort of a bourgeois isolation that happens. You know, people live in their own apartments, they separate themselves, they move away from their families, they don't spend very much time with their friends. And as a result, people can go about their lives without any sort of sense of a larger picture or a relationship to a larger community or global economy. I know in bourgeois culture, and certainly the way I grew up, it's very rude to talk with people about how much they earn. Because if you were to talk with people regularly about how much they earn and where the money's going and how they're treating their money, people would be held accountable to how they. No one would be like, oh, I just spent like $500 on a T-shirt at some fancy store, while there are people dying of starvation within the borders of our own colonial country. So those kinds of conversations, though they are quote unquote uncomfortable to someone who's been educated in bourgeois society to not talk about money or to not talk about resources or not talk about the parasitism that's present in capitalism and everything like that, it's very important for us to break down those things. And part of how we do that is by reaching out. And we don't have to win people immediately. You know, no one comes. You know, you throw reparations out there, that's the dividing line for most people. You know, that's how you get people to stick with you. But you know, you start with what people are into. You know, if people are ostensibly liberal or interested in progressiveness, they're not with their own hands murdering African people. And I mean just like if they're basically being liberal, if they're being liberals, they're allowing genocide to continue to occur and land theft to occur without doing anything about it. They're not involved in any revolutionary movement, which is trying to overturn this parasitic, genocidal, murderous, thieving, stealing system, which is reducing the ability of African people to survive. I totally lost my train of thought. But if people are not totally reactionary, then we can do something at least to plant the seed of the revolutionary thought in their minds. Oh, there's something wrong with this system. There's something at the core that this system is doing which is not helping people, real people. That a profit-based, growth-based business model does not actually help real people to have the best lives that they can have. You need a different system for that. You need a system that takes into account the social mores, that takes into account what people need socially in terms of communities, and that's why we have things like socialism and African internationalism. Okay. Spot on, Connor. Yes. Oh, okay. Get down. What is that? Okay. Virginia says, really go outside and talk to people and sell them the spirit to overcome the obstacles to that. Yeah, you know, it's tough to go and talk to people sometimes, but it's, and like I have a hard time when I'm by myself selling spears, but when I'm with a friend, it's so much more fun, and we can regroup and we can talk about what worked and we can strategize and we can get together. And like, even if I have a friend who's not so much into USM work, I can still be like, hey, do you want to go do this with me? And maybe they'll come with me and they can help out. We can do it just there. You know, we can set up on a street corner or something and do that. So selling spears is one example of a reparations challenge. So this is the spear, in case you didn't know. Burning Spear, it's a newspaper. And when we buy the newspaper, we're supporting the independent African press. And then also when we sell it, we get money we get resources from people, and those can be part of our reparations challenge too. And I would encourage people to try it out. You know, if you have never done a reparations challenge, go on the Burning Spear website. You can get if you buy more than like 15 or 20 spears, you get a distributor's rate, so you can get a bunch, and then you can use that as your reparations challenge and raise like 25, $30, something small, you know. Or maybe you have a bigger idea. You can certainly contact me or anyone in the USM, strategy. Okay. Tree Hugger Power says, I just started doing YouTube stuff like a year ago after this white invader got more than 40,000 views off a video of me. It was 5 minutes. It literally changed the conversation of Sioux City, Iowa for weeks. Tree Hugger Power says, they even had an audio clip of me on the radio stations. So then I went on air, etc., and started my YouTube. Virginia, LOL, I'm so glad you're a real person. When I show my people the Ghazi reparations video, they be like, they're paid actors. I'm like, no, Ghazi is legit, and they're legit for Black Power. I didn't see that video with Virginia and like Jackson and all the other comrades until later in the game. For me, the video was the video of Ghazi and Jesse, because I was like so confused why Ghazi would hang out with white people. And then the more I got involved, the more clear I understood that it's not a friendly relationship, it's a political strategy. And then I saw that other video and I was like, whoa! And now I get to work like regularly with people like Prince and Jesse and Jackson and Virginia. And Virginia actually brought me into the organizational structure. So, Uhuru! Virginia says, yeah, that's me in the vid in the orange blouse. Yeah, that's Virginia. You should check out Virginia's Reparations Challenge video. She made a cooking program with her nephew's help. Cooking! You can cook for your friends. Oh, this is what you could do. You could have a potluck with your friends and do an appeal or sell them spears or, it's like a Tupperware party, but it's like burning spears or something. I don't know. Many ideas. So if you have ideas for what your reparations challenge should be, let's throw some out there. Cooking party reparations challenge. Jackson, Johan, Miss Red Bell, Barbara, are you guys still watching? Oh my God, you work with Prince. Everybody love him. Oh. Yeah. I mean, there's some great people. Like, this work is just really powerful because there's so many cool people. Like, there's gay people and like trans people and like disabled people, and they are all working together. It's like really, I mean, I have problems with multiculturalism, but good Lord, there are so many different types of people in this work. It's really an amazing part of being involved. It's like, we're kind of like, sometimes I say like, USM is kind of like the rejects of white society. Like, because many of us have been in situations where we've been like totally rejected by white society, isolated. A lot of us struggle with, and it's all connected, the mental and the physical health stuff. And many of us have mental health issues or disabilities or identity struggles or social struggles, attention deficit things. That's all connected. It's not some isolated thing. And so many of us came to this work because it provided a community around which we could, really focus our energy, focus our desire to create change, our desire to participate in the future, really imagining a future that included us. This work is not about killing off all the white people. Well, I won't say that for sure, but this work is about building a future. So Virginia says, I have to find new white people to invite to my reparations challenge. Salute Prince and Seattle comrades. Salute Ghazi. Seattle comrades are great. We have a lot of comrades in Seattle. I don't know all of them. Truth, Connor, yes, this work is my life. My comrades give me life. Yeah, what are you doing with your life if you're not involved in something like this? That's really an honest question I have. Johan says we have a reparations challenge mass meeting at 1 p.m. So without further ado, we can do some closing announcements, then we can wrap up so that I can get to warming up for my show. So thanks very much for tuning in, asking your questions. Of course, let me know if you have any other ideas. Stay tuned for next week. Tonight we'll have the. Oh no, it's already up. So I already posted all of the Eventbrite links for the coming couple weeks. Meeting white people like y'all is rare. I have the privilege to have met several white invaders who are actually for Black Power. Is white invaders what you're calling like traitors to white power? That's a question. White invaders. That's an interesting term. In a way, we don't have to invade anything because like we are white, so we're like already connected to white power. So it's our job to turn over those stolen resources. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, black power and whiteface is what sometimes we get called. So, as opposed to a petty bourgeois. Well, anyway. So tomorrow we have a really important meeting. If you're a member, or if you can become a member in the next like couple hours, I would really encourage you to attend our Unity Through Reparations Mass Committee meeting. It is a meeting for all active USM members. All USM members should be active, I believe. It's a political question of your involvement and your willingness to commit time and energy and resources to this work. It's all connected and it's all part of the thing. Obviously, if you have personal contradictions, those are yours to manage. But I would encourage everyone to attend this meeting tomorrow. If you post here, I can give you that information. If you contact me, my email is, well, I'm not going to put it out actually here, but you can email info at Uhuru Solidarity, UHURU Uhuru Solidarity, and yeah, people are already coming in the theater. So the meeting tomorrow is at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to include an overview by the chairwoman who we talked about, and Jesse. And it's going to include some discussion from the head of economic development in the Reparations Challenge, Comrade Casey Mackey, who's wonderful and amazing, and very fierce and winning. And I'm sure Jackson, Johan, and everyone will talk. People will talk about the Reparations Challenge. And you'll get to meet all of the people that we talked about here. You'll get to meet many of the people, directly on the call. It's nice to hear people's voices. It'll be a big community group mass meeting. So I hope you all can make it. We have another Burning Spear study next week. It'll be right before I leave. I'm leaving this next month to go to Germany for work, which is a bummer because I'll be away from Brooklyn and I won't be able to work so hard building. But so next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll have another Burning Spear study. As Virginia said here, at 2:30 on Saturdays. So earlier today and a week from today at 2:30 is our orientation for new members, prospective members. That's led by IRMO Chair Araya Fogarty. And Johan, what is the info at? Yeah, great. Reparations Challenge outreach meeting at 7 p.m. Eastern. We have the outreach meeting on Fridays at 7 p.m. So that's in a week. I'm not sure if that's not really open, but if you're interested and you're watching this video now and you're not already in that meeting, you want to be attending, then you can let me know. We can figure that out if that's appropriate for you. Tree Hugger Power says, anyway, when I was arrested for hugging a tree, literally, I've been calling white people in general invader, cracker, deforestation pilgrims. Sorry if that offends, but deforestation is a colonial norm. We're going to need to wrap up, but yes, I unite with that. A huge part of the work that the party does is by building Black Power, we are able to target environmental justice. and understanding the relationship between justice for indigenous people, returning land to the indigenous populations around the world, returning Africa and African resources to African people and to the African land, is a huge part of destroying an extractivist, I've heard this term, extractivist, extraction-based, parasitic colonial economy. So if you're interested in working, your name's Tree Hugger. I'm sure it sounds like you already have a good grasp of how these things are intertwined and how the importance of justice for indigenous people and African liberation, black self-determination is related to environmental justice and ending the assault that the white power industry is making on the planet. And there you go. I'm not sure what events we have coming up related to environmental stuff, but I'll be meeting with socialists in Ohio for the first time to hopefully get them out on the streets more and make more vids with me in solidarity with the work that we do. Great. I mean, we're not aligned with white socialist groups. We're not aligned with any white groups. Not because there's not a strategy for white people, but we are the strategy for white people. And so the party does have strategic alliances with certain liberation groups, including the Irish Workers' Liberation Group and a number of liberation groups around, Palestinian liberation, the Union del Barrio, Mexican liberation. So there are alliances, and some of those groups that are allied with do have white populations, but we're not aligned with white leftists, and we're not working to be a part of that community. But I support your involvement, Union del Barrio. Sorry, my accent's bad. Yeah, Jackson posted that there. So yes, thank you for tuning in. I guess one thing I want to say is that this education part that we're doing here, this sphere study, is it's not a program in and of itself. The work that we're really doing is reparations, and I hope that every day you can make a pledge of material solidarity to the movement and to the larger Uhuru movement, and that you can, each month pledge a substantial portion, especially if you're white. That's who we're speaking to. Pledge a substantial portion of your income, the money that you have access to, the income of your family and friends. You can make sure that that money goes into the hands of African people, because those are the people that are going to be able to affect the most revolutionary change. So that's all that we have for today's Spear Study. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in 1 week. If I do not see you or hear from you sooner, feel free to email me. And until then, we are making amazing strides. This movement is powerful. It's winning. The electoral campaigns are winning. They are growing our audience even more, and we will be harvesting all of the amazing comrades and resources that these campaigns have brought forward. Uhuru, thank you so much for tuning in, all of you. I really love getting to do this every week. Hopefully next week we'll be at my house, and then after that we'll be in Essen in Germany, in an industrial town, which we'll get to learn all about. And it'll be midnight in Germany, so I'll be dark and you guys will be 6 p.m. your time. So that's what's up on the docket for the coming weeks. I hope that you guys have a great evening, and Uhuru!